Well, hello everyone. I'm Sam Valenti, and today I have the amazing pleasure of talking with the TV play-by-play voice of the Phoenix Mercury, the amazing Cindy Brunson. Cindy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, of course. Like I said before, truly an honor to be speaking with you today. Just last night, you were calling the Indiana-Minnesota game on Peacock, and I read that your flight got delayed going into Bloomington, but I'm glad you got there, and everything ended up working out well. So.
Oh, yeah. I learned that it's wise to leave the day before. So I'm glad that I did that. And weather across the country is just bananas. So I'm lucky that I was still able to make it the day I traveled.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And yesterday it was kind of interesting because we also got some Mercury news. Of course, you got the hiring of these new assistant coaches with Megan Vogel and Michael Joyner. Just kind of what are your first thoughts on those hires? And then just overall in general, how excited are you for this new era of Mercury basketball under Nate Tibbetts in this upcoming year?
I'm really excited. I had an opportunity to have a nice chat with General Manager Nick Uren at the UCLA USC game at Galen Center last Sunday. And I am, after speaking with him, I am even more excited than I was before because everybody in the front office is getting their ducks in a row to have a fantastic draft and to build the Mercury back to a championship caliber team.
I know that obviously a lot of people were hoping that they would get the number one pick, assuming that Caitlin Clark, ends up declaring for the draft. But still, I think Phoenix is going to be able to get, an absolute stud. You still get the third picks. I mean, that's still
Mhm.
pretty damn good.
There's such a wealth of talent in college basketball right now. I know that Caitlin Clark deservedly grabs a lot of the headlines as the leading scorer in all of women's college basketball, but the talent level is so exceedingly high. And I think whoever comes out and declares and lands in Phoenix is going to be a great addition. Is Paige Becker is going to stay at UConn. I think she's going to stay because she wants to win for Gino, and she hasn't had a chance to be healthy with teammates healthy with her. So I bet she stays. I think Cameron Brink is going to stay at Stanford. I think she has dominated Pac-12. She wants to do the same in the ACC, and she loves playing alongside Kiki Iriafen. So I'm a little nervous that she's not going to declare for the draft. So it'll be interesting to see who is available and who actually wants to come out. And Caitlin Clark may stay. I mean, it's tough to pass up playing in front of 15,000 fans at least everywhere you go. I'm out here in Big Ten country, and she is a draw. Not only does she sell out Carver Hawkeye Arena, she sells out wherever she goes. So, and Lisa Bluter the other day said, I feel the compunction to keep her on the floor because I know fans everywhere have paid to see her play. And no matter how great the action is in the WNBA, we can't put 15,000 in the seats unless it's at Las Vegas in their auxiliary arena. So it'll be interesting to see if she actually comes out as well. Because she could stay at the University of Iowa and set records that will never, ever be broken.
She can still make a really good amount of money just from the NIL stuff if she stays at Iowa, and that's
Right?
that's kind of like another thing to kind of consider.
Yeah. If she goes to the Fever, a rookie deal, less than $100,000. That's literally all she would be leaving on the table. So I'm sure she can make that up in NIL money elsewhere. Like her State Farm deal will stay with her, whether she's at Iowa or in the WNBA. So it'll be very interesting. The only thing that could be a challenge for her right now is, does she just want to keep beating competition that is not good on good night in and night out? And in the WNBA, it's good on good all of the time, in addition to the fact that she will run into veterans like our Diana Taurasi, who will like to welcome her to the WNBA and prove to her that it's not as easy as it looks on TV. And look at the guards who struggled when they entered the WNBA. Take it back to Skylar Diggins-Smith, who had a so-so rookie year, really got it together in year two. Sabrina Ionescu had injuries and was down, but then got up in year two. So playing that point guard position in the WNBA is a lot. Kelsey Plum, another example, struggled, number one pick, and didn't hit the ground running. The WNBA is a different animal. Now, I think Caitlin Clark will get selected for the Olympic team just because of all of the cachet that she brings. And deservedly, she is a great shooter, even though we are very guard heavy for the Olympic team. I just think the committee will not be able to resist having her and all of that she brings on the team. But she'll get a taste of, and she's had a taste in the training camps of what it's going to take to be successful at that next level. And I think based on that, I think that will really impact her decision on if she's coming out. And remember, as soon as the tournament is over, there's 4 precious days where everybody has to say, yes, I'm in, or no, I'm not. So that's when all of the GM rooms around the WNBA are going to just be nervous as all get out, because nobody will know what their draft board looks like until everybody declares.
Just in general, it is such an exciting time for, women's basketball, just in general, right? And of course,
Mm.
here in the Valley, here in Phoenix, we're going to have the WNBA All-Star Game coming here in July. And
Yeah.
the Mercury actually, I think this last weekend, the Mercury held this event. They started this all-girls youth league and like this YMCA partnership. There's a lot of great stuff happening, even just around here in Phoenix. From your perspective, since you came to Phoenix, I think this is like a 2013, in what ways
Mhm.
have you seen women's basketball really grow here in the Valley?
Well, credit to the Phoenix Mercury. As soon as I arrived in Phoenix, like you said, in 2000, end of 2012, early 2013, women's basketball was already popular. I know the rest of the country is, embracing this. Wow, women's basketball is really good. We were already there in Phoenix when I arrived. The arena was sold out. Thousands of people would be there to watch games. So I just think that Phoenix has led the way in the WNBA as how things should be done. And now with new owner Matt Ishbia, who I think is a human ATM, he wants to win and he wants the best for everything and anything around the Suns and Mercury. And he's making it happen. And I think that just only makes the fan experience better. And we just have to find a way to make sure that we can accommodate the 10,000 people that want to arrive every night and make sure that they have the best time possible. To Ishbia's credit, he's building a new practice facility for the Mercury downtown. He's going to have new offices for his leadership team there. I think that speaks volumes because every WNBA team that pulls in will say, oh, okay, well, the Aces have their 65,000 square foot facility. Look at what the Mercury are doing now. So as far as a destination for athletes to sign, I think it will also be another feather in the cap for the Mercury.
And I think a lot of people just talk about like all this stuff, he's out for the Suns, all the big signings with Durant and Beal, all that stuff. That stuff, gets all like this attention. But what I've been really impressed with is that he has made the Mercury just as much of a priority, as the
Oh,
Sun.
sure. Yes, yes. And whenever he talks about both teams, he says Mercury first. That's huge. So he gets it. And he's a girl dad. So he truly, truly gets it. And he walks the walk and talks the talk. I like it.
And now I just kind of want to talk a little bit about your background now. I was doing a little research. I saw that you attended Curtis High School, and you've kind
Ooh,
of talked
wow.
before. Yeah, yeah. We're going back in the day now. And you've talked before about how you got to do things like in high school, like public address announcing, doing the morning announcements, getting this experience. Just how important was it to get, that valuable experience early on?
I think what was most valuable to me was teachers and or vice principals or athletic directors saying, yes, try to do that. I believe in you. I believe in your dreams and your hopes and your wishes and your aspirations. And it was validated very early on when I woke up. It's interesting to be here at Indiana, where Jane Pauley went to school, because I walk into my hotel room and there's a picture of her on the wall. And I thought, man, I wanted to be her when I was back in high school, and said that out loud a lot, before I realized how difficult hard news was, and that I didn't want to talk about that all the time, and then it would be much easier and more in my wheelhouse to do sports. And so everybody at Curtis High School was fantastic in supporting me and my dreams and my aspirations. So that was my biggest takeaway. I was validated very early on in, speaking it into existence and making it happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And again, I just think it's so great that in high school you that you were able to get this great, experience even back then because now I think it's a little bit easier, no, for some kids if they
Oh,
want to
sure.
get broadcasting to get that more
Yeah,
experience
because
just
you
in high
walk
school.
around with a camera and microphone in your pocket. It's your cell phone. You can do anything
Mhm.
now. We didn't have that. We were still on encyclopedias, and yeah, it was the technology, and that world was a lot different. So that opportunities were limited.
It's great that you were able to get that great experience. And then, from there, of course, you went to Wazoo. You went to the Murrow College of Communications there, and of course I mean, what I love is that you are just so passionate about the Cougars to this day. You're one of the most passionate fans out there,
Mhm.
but just in general, what was your experience like there? And then what would you say were the biggest things that you learned during your time there that have really impacted your career in broadcasting?
I absolutely loved matriculating at Washington State University. I see the feet of snow that are falling on campus today, and I wonder how I ever survived that. But it was incredible. We had our own television studio. We produced and put out our own newscasts. So it was a great training ground. I had the best laid foundation possible that I could have going into the world of television and sports journalism. So I am grateful to Washington State, and particularly my lead professor, Glenn Johnson, who in turn left teaching to become a five-time mayor of the city of Pullman, who recently retired. But because of him, and I mean, and I still call him to this day. Hey, I'm debuting on Peacock. Can you watch the game? Give me some notes. Let me know what you think. And I do that regularly with him. He has just been that steady of a guide for me throughout my career. He was the second call I made when I got hired by ESPN. And then I turned my ESPN signing bonus into a donation back to the School of Communication so that they could buy some equipment for the television set. So yeah, Washington State is huge for me. I'm devastated by what's happened to the Pac-12 and the fact that after 108 years, my school doesn't have a conference home. Football will be played in the Mountain West. Sports like basketball will be played in the WCC for the next couple of years. That's odd. But other than that, yes, I am go Cougs all the time, ride or die.
But you go back to Wazoo a lot, and you talk with students there. You're always willing to go back, give students advice, and I think that's just so awesome. I got a lot of respect for that.
Oh, thanks. I'm heading back there in early February. Pac-12 Network is sending me up there for Washington State against the Mountain Schools. So I'm super excited for the chance to go back home, even though it's snowy, and and again, pay it forward.
Yes, absolutely. Now I read that during college, you also worked as a flight attendant for Delta. I
Yeah,
got to ask, what was that experience like, and what were some important skills that you learned from doing that job?
I think everybody should have to work in customer service so they can appreciate when they don't have to work in customer service. Dealing with the public can be a lot, and I can't even imagine what the job would be like today. But long story short, my father was telling me that I had spent too much money on, beer and pizza for my friends and my sorority and stuff. And he's like, you don't know the value of a dollar. You could get a job if you wanted to. And I took that as a challenge. I thought, yeah, I can get a job. I'm kind of awesome. So I picked up the Sunday paper, as one did back in the day before anything was digital, and saw Delta had a help wanted ad. And I went up to SeaTac International Airport, interviewed, got hired. And so, some kids today take gap years. Well, that's what I did. I went to see the world. I was an international flight attendant. I flew London, Paris, and Frankfurt, and it was amazing. And it helped ground me in the fact that I wasn't curious about seeing the world anymore, because that was the big thing of, okay, I'm going to get into television. And we were being told that our only vacations would come in between jobs, that you just have to grind so hard before you kind of make it to take time. So I thought, all right, I was looking at that. There were places I wanted to go and things I wanted to see, and Delta Airlines helped me do that. And that's why to this day, I am a diehard Delta frequent flyer member, and that is always my first airline of choice, because I had such a wonderful work experience with the company, and just value all of the opportunities that were afforded to me because of that flight attendant job.
It's funny because when I arrived here, no, for this semester, I flew in here to Phoenix using Delta, and it's interesting because I had missed my flight, no, so I had to like rebook a new one, but they made the process so easy, and it was really well done, very good customer service, so.
Yeah, they've been voted the number one airline in the country 5 out of the last 6 years, I think. So yeah, they're really good. And then, when I did go back to school, my professors were incredibly accommodating, because I would fly during the week. I would fly domestic routes Monday through Thursday. Or no, excuse me. I would go to school Monday through Thursday and then fly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So there were a couple of times that I got, snowed in Buffalo and couldn't get back to present, something for a class. And everybody was really nice about it, and very helpful and understanding. So it was cool. Another reason to love Wazoo.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's see. So, okay, so this is around 98, 99. I read that you worked in Portland for a little bit, and was a huge fan.
1 year.
Yeah. And as a huge fan of arena football, I was actually really excited to see that you covered this arena football team in Portland called the
Oh,
Forest
the Portland
Dragons.
Forest Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've been a huge fan of the sport, ever since I was a little kid. So I just got to ask, any specific memories from covering some arena football back in the day?
Yeah, getting to see Kurt Warner play, because
Oh,
he was an arena guy before he went to the NFL to be a star. So, yeah, it was, it's a track meet. It's like football on, speed. It's crazy. The playing surface is so compact, and they're still impacting like they do on a regular NFL size field. So it sounds like a car crash on every snap. It's crazy. But it was a lot of fun. And the people who do it, a lot of them, I would say 90% of the players, are looking for that next step to NFL or what have you. And then the diehard 10% that just love the game and love the camaraderie and just want to be on a team. And that was really cool to see.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think that's something that I've always loved about the league is that and about the AFL. Then there's the IFL. That's the league that the Rattlers playing right now.
Mhm.
But what I've always loved is that the players are so nice. They always sign autographs, take photos. After the
Yeah.
games. No, no, they're just genuinely nice people, just looking, for an opportunity to, play the game
Mhm.
that they love or, maybe try to make the NFL. Of course, we saw what Kurt Warner did, there's a couple others, who've been
Mhm.
able to make it to that level. And it's just, and I've always just loved that sport, I always have, and I think I always will. So.
Yeah, as I cover Athletes Unlimited, I'm getting set for my third season of pro women's basketball with that group. It reminds me a lot of Arena League, because the players, for the most part, are playing professionally for the first time in their basketball careers. And it's so interesting to see that part of the journey and what it means to them and the opportunity that Athletes Unlimited affords. It's really, really cool. Same sort of vibe and atmosphere. Because yes, we have a lot of WNBA players who with AU to stay stateside and safe, avoiding the international scene. So that part is neat. But what's really cool is to see the athletes that haven't got a chance to even get invited to a WNBA camp, don't want their college careers to end, really want to test themselves against better competition, because that's when you find out where you're at, right? Good on good. So I love that aspect of Athletes Unlimited for sure.
Yes, yes, for sure. Now let's talk about when you first, arrived here in the Valley. So this is again around like late 2012, early 2013. After your amazing tenure at ESPN, which I have to say I have very fond memories of watching you on there as a little kid. So many great memories. After your husband took the TV play-by-play job with the D-backs. Of course, you came here. So, what were your first impressions of Phoenix when you got here?
I loved it. I loved 300 Days of Sunshine. I loved the fact that I actually had time off. It was the first extended rest time that I had had in 7 years. We got married in 2006. We took a 3-week hiatus from work. We spent 2 weeks on our honeymoon and then some days on the front end and back end. And that was the longest time off I had had in my professional career up until leaving ESPN. And it made me appreciate just time. And then arriving in Phoenix with the 300 Days of Sunshine after being in snowy Connecticut and growing up in rainy Seattle area, it was like, okay, I love it. I don't care how hot it gets. That's why God made air conditioning. I love it. But I didn't know what I was going to do because I had planned to be Linda Cohn. That was my plan when I arrived at ESPN in 1999, and I didn't want to leave, and I didn't have a plan B. But my husband got his dream job with the Diamondbacks. And so I pivoted and I thought, well, he's doing play by play. It can't be rocket science. So let me try to maybe dip my toe in that water. A huge credit to Amber Cox, the former president and CEO of the Phoenix Mercury. As soon as I hit town, she reached out. Let's grab lunch. Let's get you involved with the Mercury somehow. She let me fill in on a broadcast with Annie Myers Drysdale, and I was hooked. As soon as I put the headset on, I was like, okay, I want to do this. I got to figure out how to do this. And then she also had me writing for the website. So because of my connectivity to college basketball, being on a college desk at ESPN with Kara Lawson and Rebecca Lobo and Carolyn Peck, she knew I knew the college game. So she's like, let's connect the two. And it was the first time where my eyes were open to these two entities need to not just coexist, but lean on one another and lean into one another. So I was, hey, we've got Leisha Clarendon and Cal. Cal may make the Final Four and she's a pro. And here's why, those kind of articles for Mercury.com. And so it really laid the foundation for me to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and just what I think is so awesome is that you are just so passionate about the sports here in Phoenix, and I love that. Of course, you go to plenty of D-backs games, of course, but also I see you go to a lot of Coyotes games, which I love as a big hockey fan. So, no, and I love the Yotes. I mean, I'm from Dallas, I'm a Stars fan, but I've really gotten into the Coyotes as soon as I got here. So, I think that's awesome.
Well, when we first moved to the Valley, we would go out to Glendale, but it was such a schlep. And it just, we were like, okay, that's kind of too far. But now with the team playing in Tempe, which is so close to our house, and that venue is such a great place to watch hockey because it's so small. I mean, it's just incredible. So the fact that you get to see these gigantic NHL players come in and skate on collegiate ice there's just a thrill factor to that. And we get to see teams like my husband is from Boston, huge Bruins fan. So we got to see the bees and, just things like that where it normally wouldn't be afforded to us without a lot of hassle or what have you. I just hope the Coyotes find a home that's more convenient than Glendale. And because we'd like to continue to keep going because it's a great sport. And I think it's one of the sports that you just have to see in person. TV just doesn't do it justice for whatever reason. There's just something about hearing, the ice, you know, fly in the air when the skates come to an immediate stop and the slapping of the sticks on the ice. And there's just so much auditorially that happens that enhances the experience. For me personally, I just enjoy hockey in person much more than on TV.
Yes, well, I 100% agree, and just going to, I love going to Yotes games, just because it's, well, I mean, it's cool because it's at our arena, and
Right, right.
it's like on our campus, which is
Popular.
amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I
Uh,
really
uh,
like the in-host arena. In-arena host. She does a really nice job.
yeah, yes, absolutely. No, I gotta ask, would you ever think about doing possibly some hockey play-by-play?
I wish I had the acumen to do that. I don't know that I could keep up. It is so fast. It's ridiculous. And honestly, I don't know hockey that well. I'm a fan, but I don't think I could do play by play for it justice. And there are so many women in the space that are coming up that do a great job. I would not, I would feel like the weakest link in the chain, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I'll stay in my basketball and softball lanes. I'm real comfortable there, so I'm good.
Mm. Yeah, but you make a great point there, and I think what's so great is that there are so many women who have been able to do hockey play-by-play in recent years. I think it's so great. Like Leah Hextall with ESPN,
Yeah.
love her. She's awesome, and you got like a couple others. You have women, even as color analysts, doing all sorts of things. And I think it's great that hockey is in the NHL are really, getting on that stuff. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I'm super excited to see it.
Yes, 100%. Now I always like ending off my interviews, kind of asking this question. What
Mhm.
is, no, for you, what is the biggest piece of advice that you have for aspiring sports broadcasters?
No is a complete sentence. The word no is a complete sentence. That's something where, especially for women, I feel like we say no and then we have to give a reason why. Um, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. No, just say no and move on. No is a complete sentence. I would also say, if you hear the word no, it does not define you. If you get turned down for a job, that's not who you have to be. Just go on to the next. My professor, Glenn Johnson, would always say, you can hear the word no, but you don't have to listen. So um, the few times that I heard the word no, I was like, you know what? They don't appreciate what I've got. And I will find someone who does.
Especially in our industry that sometimes you will get a lot of no's. You'll probably get more no's than yeses. You'll probably you'll have to deal with probably again more rejections than acceptances, but but you just gotta roll with the punches.
Listen, the Mercury is a great example. I have tried for years to get that play-by-play job. Years. And it's the hardest job for me to attain. And I'm just hoping that the relationship with the team continues for a long time because outside of getting to ESPN, it was my biggest job landed. And up until getting hired by NBC Sports. And yeah, it means the world. But I heard no a lot from the Mercury, but that did not stop me. I just kept pushing.
As fans, and we have the amazing honor of being able to listen to your exciting play-by-play. And, really, I think you're just even more than just being a great play-by-play voice. You are a great ambassador for the Mercury as well. I think you do like a great job of that as well. I think that's very important.
You're sweet to say that. I am just following the lead of the Hall of Famer, Annie Myers-Drysdale. She is amazing. I am so, in two of my biggest jobs that I have with Athletes Unlimited and the Mercury, I work with two amazing legends in the game in Annie Myers-Drysdale, the Hall of Famer, and of course, her fellow Hall of Famer, Cheryl Swoops. So it's easy to be an ambassador when you have that depth and breadth of basketball knowledge sitting alongside. All I have to do is make sure that nobody swears on the air and we get off on time. I just sit back and listen as a fan to the amazing insights that those legendary women offer up.
I think that's so great is that at heart, you are still a fan and you have like this,
Oh, yeah.
no, again, and you have this passion, this energy, and it comes through on every broadcast that you're just excited to be there.
I do. And I'm a huge women's basketball fan. I flew to Paris to watch the opening game of the season between South Carolina and number one in the nation and Notre Dame because I wanted to be a part of that venue, vibe, all of it. I thought if women's basketball is doing something for the first time ever by playing a game on foreign soil to open a season, I have to be a part of that. So my sister and I booked some flights on Delta and we went to Paris and made a vacation out of it. It was amazing. And then because of an NBC commitment, I missed the opportunity to call USC in person. And so last weekend, I flew to Los Angeles to watch UCLA at USC so I could see Juju Watkins in person. And whoo, you talk about a ticket selling player. She is worth the price of admission. My goodness gracious, she can hoop. But again, my own volition, my own dime, because I wanted to take it in. I wanted to see Galen Center with 10,000 plus fans in it because I've never seen that in my lifetime. And even when Cheryl Miller was hooping when I was young and just kind of getting integrated into what women's basketball could be, the Galen Center wasn't packed like that. So to see the growth and development of the game and these amazing players, it is just a passion for me, and I cannot get enough of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me have the opportunity to talk with you today. Just really again, as a fan, of your broadcasting career, and just, as someone who appreciates the great work you do, this was a truly, truly an honor.
Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. It means a ton. It was great to meet you in person, and I was super happy to help out with that. And again, thanks so much for pivoting with my crazy schedule here in the state of Indiana as I hustle from city to city.